Hi and welcome to or back to my YouTube channel. So my name is Beth and I make knit, crochet, sewing, all sort of craft content here and on Instagram. So I typically make like sort of 2 week like making process vlogs, and this is just the start of another one. So I've actually spent the last week in Northern Ireland. Me and my boyfriend went over to see some of his family. So I have got a few clips from there, but obviously I wasn't making sort of too much while I was away. I have been working on a green jumper, which you will see clips of, but I just thought I'd start the video here and then insert the clips, hopefully with some like voiceovers, because we went to the Game of Thrones museum, which I know not everyone has watched, but I thought the costumes were incredible, and I thought even if maybe you haven't seen the show, the costumes are still like really incredible if you're interested in like sewing and fashion and like sort of the making behind it all. Like just the detail in them is insane, but we will get to that. And then we also, on the last day, we were in Belfast and did pop into a few yarn shops. Didn't actually end up buying anything. There was a few bits that I liked the look of, but there wasn't enough in the colours that I wanted, and I didn't just want to spend money for the sake of it. So I will try and insert them clips next and then catch up to now. So this was in the airport on the way out to Northern Ireland, and this was literally like so early in the morning, so didn't really do much. We'd been out in London the night before and literally got straight on a plane at 6:30, so I wasn't really anticipating to knit that much. But yeah, this was the Game of Thrones museum. I didn't want to put in too much because obviously not everyone's seen it, and it's an amazing thing to go and see if you have seen the show. But yeah, the costumes were like incredible to see in person, and like this was one of my favorite outfits in the whole show, even just down to like the armor, like the amount of detail that's gone into the breastplate and just everything. This section as well also told you like exactly how many like miles of fabric that they used for the costumes through the show, and was just sort of like a snippet of like the workspace. We then also went and did like some sightseeing. The weather was so nice, which we did not think it was gonna be. But yeah, we just went and saw this little beach, and like that tree tunnel was actually also one of the filming locations for Game of Thrones. But yeah, and then we just saw this like ruins of this manor house. Obviously this was all sort of up on the north coast, so we did it all like in a day. And then these were just some of the yarn shops that we went to in Belfast. So this first one did have like a lot of sort of acrylic, but it did also have a lot of like sock yarns and stuff. It was really cute, but obviously I didn't end up buying anything. This shop, I was actually going to buy some stuff. They had a lot of like Isaiah and like just various sort of wools, but they didn't have enough in the colours that I wanted. And then the colours that I did like, I feel like the yarn was too rustic for me. It was a bit too itchy. And they had a lot of nice like local sock yarns, but I haven't knit socks and I do have sock yarn that I need to use. This is a shop, I think you pronounce it like Sostrine Green or something. We have them here as well, but they did have a little bit of yarn, but obviously didn't get anything. And then yeah, this was just on the way back. We had a much better flight on the way back. It was a much better time, but I was just trying to get through this project at this point because I knew when I came back I wanted to work on other things. So here I was like trying to figure out where to like end the sleeve and like how big to do the cuff and stuff, because we were gonna, obviously this was just before we got on the plane and I wanted to be able to just mindlessly knit on it. This was sort of my last try on point. So yeah, I was just obviously discussing this with the people I was with. Yeah, just doing a bit of designing and some maths basically. So we've just got back from our trip to Northern Ireland. Please literally ignore all of this. Clearly haven't put anything away, but I just wanted to update on this jumper. It's just looking a bit ridiculous right now because I think I'm going to at least frog the ribbing, if not the whole sleeve. So this is what it's looking like at the minute. So I started knitting the ribbon thinking obviously when I block this this will flatten out a bit. I didn't want to make it too long, but I think this just looks a bit ridiculous. Like, I think this is a bit short, and I can't tell as well if I want to make it more narrow. If you watched any of the last vlogs, this is the exact problem that I had with my white only cardigan, but I literally basically knit all of this sleeve yesterday while I was traveling, so I'm not too annoyed about having it to frog it back. But I just thought I would update while it's like in this stage, because obviously where I've been traveling I haven't been able to like update as much, and this might be a bit of a jump. So before I left for the trip, this jumper was literally to here, so I'd done sort of the yoke section, so I have managed to sort of do the whole body and then yeah, just onto the sleeve. But I don't know whether to just block it like this and see if we can make it stretch or not, or if I should. I have got a few more rows of like ribbing that I need to do, but not a significant amount. And then obviously, well, I'm gonna have like another turn back on the cuff as well as obviously on the neck and the body. Sorry, there's someone driving past my window. But yeah, I need to sort out all of this that's going on behind me and basically come to a decision on this. Also, excuse how like spotty and gross I am. That will be all of the traveling. So yeah, as you all have seen in hopefully the last clip, I have been working on this jumper for most of the time that we were away. I was working on this before. I think this is featured at like the end of the last video maybe, or the last vlog, but this is knit using the Rowan Island Blend Fine. So I think it's like a wool, alpaca and silk mix. It is quite expensive, but I got it for half price on Wool Warehouse. I don't know if it's still up for that price, but yeah, it was like an insane deal. So I'm holding it double. This is what she looks like, but I think if you'd have just watched the last clip, I'm thinking of frogging this sleeve, or at least like making it a bit longer. I'm just trying to decide whether or not to frog it and do more decreases. Basically, it's hard to tell with drop shoulder because before you block it, obviously this doesn't lie very flat, and I don't know how much this yarn is going to grow because I didn't do a gauge swatch, or I did a gauge swatch but I didn't wash it and block it, so I have no idea how this yarn is gonna like behave. But I think either way, I think the sleeve needs fixing. And then also in the last video, I think I was speaking about, I made this last year. There's photos up on my Instagram if you're interested. It's this like crochet jacket. This is just made in scrap acrylic, but I bought some drops alpaca and mohair in the another Wool Warehouse sale basically, and I've just been making all the granny squares to remake this in like a fluffy alternative, I guess. I'm considering writing up a pattern for this, so if you're interested, please let me know, or even if you want to test potentially, message me on Instagram or comment or whatever. But yeah, these are, I'm pretty sure this is enough for both sides of the front. And then I've also at work on my lunch breaks been crocheting some for the back. So yeah, these are my two main whips. Also, if you have watched the other videos, the only cardigan I've been working on, I just need to knit the second sleeve, but we literally got home at 2 AM this morning and I've been at work all day, so haven't actually really done any crafty things. I just was doing some of these on my lunch break, but I think tonight it's a bit late, hence why like this lighting is really bad because it's pretty dark. I'm not going to touch that knit because I don't have the brain power to work on it right now. I think we're just gonna keep making some squares, and then obviously once I've got enough, it'll just be a whole load of seaming them and weaving the ends. I might start even weaving them before I start seaming, because that's what is always my downfall with granny square projects, is I make the granny squares really quick and then the seaming and the weaving just, oh, it does me in. But yeah, these are pretty cute. I'm holding one strand of each as well, by the way. Currently Friday evening. I feel like I have hardly made anything this week since I've been back from Northern Ireland, because, well, I've been working every day and then just busy in the evenings, and like this evening I've literally just sat and done my nails, which this is a particularly ridiculous set. They're all like just different types of like florals basically. So normally I do like gel X extensions, like these are gel X, but normally I will UV cure them to my nails first and then paint them after. But where I work, obviously as a seamstress, I have to like iron things constantly as I'm sewing, and I'm pretty sure that the steam from the iron is like loosening up my nails and they keep popping off at work basically. And I was sticking them back on with like just normal nail glue that you'd use for like press on nails, and it seems to hold better than the UV like glue. So this evening, instead of doing them straight into my nails, I made these press-ons and I've stuck them on, and we will see if they hold up any better. I'm not sure. If this doesn't work as well, then I will just go back to doing them sort of normally, but it is easier to paint them and cure them, but that's probably not why you're here. So really the only thing that I have been working on since I've been back is on my lunch breaks, just continuing to make more and more and more of these granny squares. I don't even know how I'm going to be able to hold these up. Literally have like so many of them. I think I can't remember the exact amount, but I need like around 50 something. I think I've currently made enough for the front and half of the back. I'm like part way through the other side of the back. I've been doing them in like sort of groups, so these are all miniature ones at the minute. They need 2 more rows on them, and then yeah, obviously at some point can start seaming this together. I haven't made any more progress on my other knits. I think I said it's Friday today. I'm working again tomorrow, Saturday, then I'm out for dinner, but I'm off Sunday, Monday, so I'm really hoping to be able to just get on with other projects really. I think I have decided I'm going to frog the sleeve of the green jumper, but we have yet to decide. Obviously I will update. Normally I do like 2-week vlogs and I normally finish on a Sunday, but I think since I'm off Monday I'll probably go up to there. But yeah, I think it's about 9:30 now. It's also like roasting, so I need to put the fan back on. But I think I'm literally just going to sit and crochet until I go to bed, and yeah, just try and get this next load of squares finished. I don't know whether to start sewing in the ends before I start seaming, so that this isn't a massive ball ache at the end. I think I might have already said that. But yeah, maybe tomorrow on my lunch, instead of making more, I'll just sit and weave in some of these ends. I feel like because I'm making this in alpaca and mohair, I think that they will be a bit more secure, because mohair is such a pain in the ass to unravel anyway. So I'm hoping that it will like sort of help the end stay in. But yeah, we'll update as we keep going. So it's Saturday night and I was actually working today, but I'm going out for dinner in a minute because it's my dad's birthday. But I ordered in the last 2 hours of the Wool Warehouse sale, I ordered some drops alpaca, but I think I've decided that I'm gonna send it back and exchange it. So this was the colour that I got, which is, I believe this is Rose Petal. It's colour 9034, and basically I ordered this because the dark pink or whatever it's called was out of stock, and then literally today it's come back in stock on the website, and I just don't think that this pink really suits me. I think it's kind of like a bit purpley in person, and it's not exactly true to the colour on the website, which is fair, or maybe it's even just my screen, because like it's never going to be 100% accurate, but I'm just being picky. So yeah, I think I'm gonna exchange this, just because I think if I'm gonna spend, like, I really love the idea that I have for this pink, and if I'm gonna spend all of the hours executing it, then she needs to be perfect and beautiful. And if I'm already iffy at this stage, like, I don't know, I don't think this is my colour, or at least for this piece that I want to make. So yeah, I bought 15 balls of this because I like to hold this double. It's a little bit thin on its own, so yeah, I do hold this double, but alas, we're sending this back. But in the same yarn, I am making my granny square jacket. So I have seamed together one front panel today and weaved in my ends, which I have decided I'm going to do this in panels and do the ends as I go. I think we're on to a winner here, because it doesn't feel so like daunting all in one go. But yeah, this is what it's looking like in the white and the grey, and I have decided that I am going to write up a pattern for this. So I will show, like, as I'm making this in stages, but I'm not going to go too much into detail of like specifics and specific construction, because yeah, I do want to write it up. So I will be looking for testers. So this, if I haven't shown it in this video, is going to be this, basically in a different fibre and obviously different colourway. So yeah, I feel like this looks like it should be too big, and I did actually start panicking a little bit last night, because I was like, oh my god, like these squares, I don't know why they just look bigger, but I don't know how to hold this up properly. Having laid it against my original jacket, it's actually fine. So I don't know what that's about, but yeah, essentially it will be this, but without the green. It will have grey around the outside. But yeah, I will just keep going with this weekend. So I'm off Sunday, Monday. I really want to knit the other sleeve of my own thing, Cardigan, which was in the previous two vlogs, and then I want to fix the sleeves, or the sleeve, on my green jumper, and yeah, just try and make as much progress with them as possible. And then this one, I feel like I don't mind this taking along a little bit, because it's easy for me to work on my lunch breaks, because I just have to take the amount of squares that are on a particular panel, or like if I'm just crocheting one square at a time, it's not like a whole ass jumper with balls of yarn and stuff. So yeah, we will see how far we get in 2 days. I do have some plans, but as always, I will bring you along. And yeah, hi, welcome to the inside of my bed. So I keep my knitting machine in here. So them two, well, under here, these boxes are my knitting machine, which luckily fit perfectly. And I also have all of these like cones of yarn, and that's also a bag of yarn. Plus I have some in here in my wardrobe. So when I left uni, I sorted through so much of the yarn that I had, because I think it's excessive to keep hold of things that I haven't used for years. And I think I said before, I have a large quantity of acrylic yarn from when I was selling a lot of pieces in lockdown. So I used to give people the option of sort of what they wanted the pieces made in. Starting prices were acrylic, because obviously it's way cheaper, there's a lot more colour option, and I was selling crochet, so you don't really get the issue that you get with knit where things curl in stockinette. Like with crochet, everything lays flat. So acrylic worked well. The majority of people, I would say, opted for acrylic because primarily, I guess, colour and price, but I don't really use acrylic for garments anymore. Especially, I don't knit in acrylic. I do sometimes make things in crochet, in crochet, like the jacket, the granny square jacket, just because I think it's a good way to use it up. But I have a couple of friends that have gotten into knit and crochet, and I basically let them have their pick of what they wanted and then donated the rest. But now, having been home for, I don't know, it's July now. I think I moved home in like November, because when I left uni I couldn't move home straight away because the house wasn't done. So when I actually came back here, I did a big clear out. I think there was about 2 bin bags worth of just acrylic, and like some of them were like whole jumper quantities, because when I do commissions I take a non-refundable deposit for materials. So if you want to cancel your order, that's fine. I haven't spent any time making it, but I'm not going to be at a loss for buying things for a piece that you then decide that you don't want or you can't afford, or you know, anything along the lines, whatever reason it may be. No hard feelings. But I did have some people, like, they paid, I bought the stuff, and then for whatever reason they didn't want a piece anymore. So I had like jumper quantities of yarn and colours that personally I wouldn't reach for, but now they're just sat around taking up space. And obviously, so I live with my family, so I only have the one room and I'm limited on space. I do try and like make the most of, you know, what I've got. Like, I'm really grateful. Like, I love my space in here. I love my room and the way that I was able to decorate it. But obviously I have an industrial sewing machine that takes up a lot of space, and I have a lot of fabrics, yarns, everything. So I'm basically doing another clear out now, being what, 9 months later. If I haven't used it, I'm probably not going to use it. The reason that I keep hold of my acrylic as well is because I can punch needle. I like to make punch needle rugs. I haven't made any in a while, but I have one remaining rug size piece of fabric. It is stapled to the frame. It is literally ready to go, and I kind of wanted to look for everything I had to see what colours I might be able to use to potentially make a new rug design. I also don't mind acrylic for things like accessories, scarves, something that's maybe a bit more oversized, like a big cardigan, or you know, anything like that that's not really close to the body. I actually personally do not mind the feel of acrylic. You can get some really soft ones, whereas some really natural wools can be super itchy. But it is the issue of blocking. That is really predominantly what it comes down to for me. I think blocking can make a piece like literally go from like looking like 80% grey to like 100% grey if you do it correctly, and you just can't do it with acrylic. You can steam acrylic, but not to a high heat because it will melt. So yeah, in knitting it does sort of limit the ability to get your garment exactly where you want it to be. And I was for a long time debating knitting samples in acrylic, but ultimately I think that's a bit pointless because you'll never get the right fit because you can't block it like you would with wool. So I think really there's only like, the only point would be to make it in the actual fibre that you want to make your final piece in. But yeah, all of these cones are acrylic because I use them for my final collection for uni, and obviously they're for the knitting machine, and they were perfect. They were quite cheap. These are all from, well, predominantly they're from Woolly Knit, which I know a lot of people now have really started liking the wool that they do. I think I actually might have a wool. I don't think it's in here. I think it's in my wardrobe, but I did buy one what's it called, cone of the wool, and I personally thought it was quite itchy, but I didn't wash it and block it, so maybe it softens up. But I probably won't be getting rid of these because they're fine to use on the knitting machine. The knitting machine obviously can also knit to a much tighter like gauge and tension, so it does look a bit more professional anyway. But I want to look through all of the boxes that I have of acrylic and just see if I can give my friends any more, because they'll actually use it and they're just sat around in here like not doing anything. But I'm gonna sit and like literally go through the whole of under my bed and everything that I've got in my wardrobe that are not my top 2 boxes, which I think I sorted out in the last vlog, that have all of my current whips and quantities of yarn that I know I am going to use. The other thing that I forgot to say is I also got given like loads from my uni. So the campus that I was on for uni closed. Like we were the last year to graduate because they moved the courses to other campuses. So my uni was split across like I think about like 5 or 6 different locations, and instead of keeping all of them open, obviously it's really expensive, they basically, ours got the cut, the courses moved to the other places, but they took all of the sewing machines, everything, but obviously they couldn't take all the materials. And the fashion department had loads of cones sat around that got donated to them years ago, and because my course doesn't teach knitwear, it teaches, you know, it's like fabric based, so like pattern cutting, sewing, etc. No one else really used it. There were like odd few people, but no one else had used a knitting machine, so they gave me a lot. So I have really weird random yarns, and some of them I cannot even put through my knitting machine, so I'm trying to gauge whether I can hand knit them. For example, like things like this. So I don't know how well you can be able to see this. It's this weird sort of yarn. It's like 2 strands with these little bits. I don't even know like how this would knit up, but it's too thick to run through the knitting machine, so I would have to use this by hand. Or like this is humongous. I bought this again from Woolly Knit. It was in their, I can't even hold this, it's so heavy. It was in their like clearance section, and it's a boucle. It's like this pink and white boucle, but it kept snagging in the knitting machine because it's not completely flat, and some bits do get quite thick. What am I going to do with this? This is what we need to figure out. It's also kind of annoying because there are some yarns that I have that I love and I don't have a lot of. For example, like this. So cones typically have like a little information thing on the inside. This one doesn't, so that's a bad example, but this one does not say what it is. I don't know what fibre it is. It feels like a merger, is that how you say it, mercerized cotton, but could be wrong. I don't know how many meters are on this. Sorry, there's like traffic outside. I don't know how many meters are on this, so I don't know how much I can get out of this, but I loved using this for Fair Isle with like a white contrast, and then this is the colour work. It's like this variegated like purple, pinks, white, all over sort of yarn, but like I'm terrified to start knitting with this and then run out. So yeah, I want to see, like some of them I have like multiple little cones of like the same thing, but there is also like a lot more in my wardrobe, so I guess I'll show you like some of the most interesting ones like as and when I am like coming across them. And maybe like if anyone has ideas or like have used any similar weird yarns, like tell me what you did with them, because I need to know. I really hope that the fan's not too loud because it is really humid here and she is necessary. The window is also open, but I have like also like random things. I have random skeins or cones from Burberry. So I think I've said this before a couple of times. My uni got donations. I have some Burberry fabric, whatever. But they had like this whole palette of these huge cones of yarn, but I say yarn loosely. These are obviously meant for like an industrial gauge. Now my knit machine is what's called a domestic knitting machine, so although it's a knit machine, it's one that you use at home. It's one of them ones that's like really long. It's got all the little like individual needles. I think it's about 200, like the little like latch hooks things, and you manually drag it back and forth, and while it does the knitting for you, you have to operate it. Like, the way that I describe a knitting machine is like a sewing machine, right? A sewing machine sews, but you are manually feeding the fabric through, you're directing it where you want it to go, it's just doing the stitching for you. A domestic knitting machine is the same. So yes, it knits for you, but you have to do all the shaping, manually moving stitches, changing colours. An industrial knitting machine is obviously what like brands use if you go and buy something in the shop, and they obviously can use very, very fine yarns. So this, I don't even know. I took this thinking, like, this can you even see how thin this is? This is like the width of a piece of like thread that I would put through my sewing machine. It is so incredibly fine. Like, can you even see? There is no way that I can hand knit with this. I think I have 4 of these in total. So I have this one, a red one, a white one, and then like a really light grey. And I was thinking maybe I could like hold these together multiple times, but even then I don't know if that's going to be an option. Like, if I double this up, so this is like, I say doubled up, this is like 16 strands. Like, if I keep doubling and doubling this, so I don't even know how that would work, but I just took it because I was like, it's Burberry yarn, like, yes, of course I'll take it. But I don't know what to do with this. I've also just found like another bag of like what I was just saying a minute ago, of just whole acrylic jumper quantities of this like grey yarn. Like, what on earth am I going to do with this? I think probably donate is the option at this point. But then I've also found like this project, this was a commission that ultimately didn't end up going through. We won't get into it, but I think I can salvage this yarn. Like, I love this stitch. This is the same stitch that I made a green skirt for myself in last summer, and like, I've got like whole panels of this and then like a couple of balls, so I'm thinking of probably like I'll keep this to unravel it because they're continuous like lengths. But I think this is really, really pretty. I think this will be like such a nice, like, because this is a cotton as well. This is a 4-ply cotton. This is the King Cole one. This is what they look like. So this, I think, salvageable. We can for sure actually do something with this yarn, which is nice. And I've also managed to find my 2 random skeins of Drops Fable that I've been looking for like ages. I have this in another colorway. I've still never knit socks, but I was like, where is that pink one? So yeah, I really love this colorway. I actually saw you can hold this with like another yarn and knit like a variegated jumper, which I think would be really cool, but obviously I've only got 2 skeins, so this probably will end up being socks. I'm going to try and hold these up together. I don't know how well it's going to work. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, right? But this is what I mean by having random little amounts, but I'm thinking maybe I can combine them all into something cool. I guess I'll go through these like individually. So Knitworks in, I think it's Knitworks, yeah. Knitworks in London, they sell cones of yarn. It's a little bit out from Central. I remember when I went, I dragged my friend with me and we were literally like trekking from the tube station, but it's fine. I bought these like small cones because they're quite expensive. This was £5.70. This was, I think it's the same yarn, yeah, £5.70. And this was £9.70, the purple one. So the pink and the yellow are like a boucle basically. It doesn't actually say what fibre they are, but they're 100 grams each. So this is 200 meters, this is 200 meters, and then this is a cotton tube. So this is 200 meters. It's really cool and like kind of, well, it's a tube, right? It's a bit thick. Like, I don't know if you can see on the end, but I think I might have used some length of these in other things, like in samples and that, but like this, yeah, it does not say what it is whatsoever. It's this weird, like, I don't know, it's almost like a zigzag. Is this gonna focus? Can you see? It's like this weird little zigzag, but I'm like, these could all be quite cool, like held together. This is almost, so this actually says it's from Yeoman Yarns, which I actually have a whole thing of swatch cards for, but I don't know if they even sell this anymore. It's like a velvet. I have definitely used this on my knit machine with samples before, but I'm thinking like, yeah, these could be quite interesting because they're all different textures. And this is, just says navy, no help. It's like quite fuzzy. I'm thinking maybe it's some sort of mohair blend alpaca, but this is why I wanted to go through, because I want to figure out how to combine them all. So I predominantly ordered most of my cones from Woolly Knit, but also Yeoman Yarns. I literally don't know how to say it, but you can order like a whole pack of swatch cards, which I basically did to act in place as my samples. So they look like this. I honestly have loads of these. These are just like the cotton ones between both websites. But like, I'm just looking through them now because I haven't obviously looked through them really since uni finished, because obviously you can just use cones to hand knit with. But like, for example, these cones are actually the Merino DK from Lana Gatto, and like, it literally just gives you all of the colors, all of the names. Obviously these may vary by dye lot a little bit, but if you're buying a cone, like, it should be enough for a whole piece anyway. But like, I'm just looking through, like, some of these colors are so nice. Like, I might actually look at getting, obviously once I've sorted through everything I've already got, getting potentially some cones in the future as just things to knit with normally, you know. And they're just so, like, it's so much easier to look at them in person than sort of online, because obviously sometimes the colors don't come true to form. And like, some of these are so weird. Like, this is alpaca wool and acrylic, and like, it's really like fuzzy. Yeah, there's so many of them. So if you're interested in buying, like, this obviously isn't sponsored or anything, but if you were ever looking at these, you can just buy the swatch cards, and you don't have to buy, like, I bought the whole pack, but you can just buy it for like a specific thing. So like, for example, this is all of the Woolly Knit Merino colorways that they had at the time. I think maybe some may have changed by now, but yeah, you can literally, they're like paint swatches when you go to like DIY shops. So I don't know how well you can actually see like what is on the bed, but basically these are the other 3 boxes that I have. So this is predominantly acrylic, this is more yarn cones, and then this is a mix. It's not actually like completely full. I think the main thing is sort of donating the acrylic, but I have just made an amazing discovery. Like I said, a lot of these don't actually say where they're from, but this one, I've just looked on the inside, and like, they have like the little label things, but someone's written casual. I don't know if you can see that or if it's backwards, but if this is a cashmere blend, I'm excited. So I think there's another jumper that I've been making, well, that I was making ages ago. I'm going to unravel it. It's the Drops Flora one with the random boucle, but this is a very similar colour, so I'm debating holding this in that, and I think this will be really soft. Like, this is really soft. This, I think, is a Chinese yarn brand, so I'm not exactly sure, but like, say this for example, this is like such a cool yarn. It's like this weird, like, you can see I tried to make it some like a slip knot with it before. This is one of them zigzag ones again, but again, I have no idea how much is in this. It's on like a, what's it, like a cardboard tube, so there can't be a lot, but it's still pretty interesting. And like this one as well, I don't know how you pronounce this. It's like, can you see? Sudvolliver Group, probably butchering that, but like this I recognize the name of because when I was working last year an assistant for a knitwear consultant, I'm pretty sure this was one of the like suppliers. Assuming this is some sort of wool blend. I'm gonna have to do some tests. Like you can do like a lighter test, and like basically if it melts it's like acrylic or like unnatural, but yeah, just gonna sift through these. This box of acrylic is humongous, but my friends have said that they would be happy to take some, so just need to see what colours there are really. And then yeah, this thing as well. Like for example, I have loads of these, right? And they've got these like sequins on them, and I thought, oh, these would be great for the knit machine, but I can't run it through because of the sequins, so I don't know what to do with them. I think it might be some sort of cotton, but again, not entirely sure. This is a better angle. So this is like the majority of the acrylic stash that I have. This I've just messed up because I've been digging through it, but these boxes are so deep as well. Like it's literally all blue underneath, and then literally, oh god, there's so much. But like, say with this is what I meant. I have so much of this, I don't know. And then yeah, this is more cones, so I think I'm gonna get rid of all of my acrylic balls and then keep the cones because I can actually use them on the knit machine and by hand, but there's nothing really that's enough quantity of anything standing out to me to like make a rug with, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep any of it, but we shall see. So I've been working on this again, and full transparency, just literally did all the short row shaping, like all of this, and realised that some of my stitches were wrong. I think where I've done the purl side slip on the German short row, they look funky, and so I have ripped it all back to like the second row from the pickup, but it's fine, I want it to be perfect. So yeah, this is what I am working on. I have pretty much gotten back to where I had knit before. Also, sorry if you can hear the fan, it's really warm, but this is basically what I've done with the German short rows. So it basically just gives it like a flat edge so that as you knit down and you get to the cuff, like this bit isn't shorter, because I did do a little bit of this sort of slanted like armhole shaping. But yeah, so now it's literally just going to be knitting in the round and doing decreases, which thank god, because I'm already sick of the purl side. I'm so sorry about the lighting. It's obviously it's the evening, but I have nearly completed the second sleeve on this cardigan. I literally have, I'm on 15 rows and I need 40 for my cuffs. So yeah, literally as soon as I finish this, I'm hoping to make good progress tonight, and then after work tomorrow, or like hopefully finish it on my lunch break tomorrow and then block it tomorrow evening. But oh, I can't wait for this to be done. I just think it looks so nice. Like this is the difference between, this is obviously the blocked sleeve and this is the unblocked sleeve. So I think what I might do, instead of blocking the whole jumper again, I might just get like up to here and like this bit wet, and then just block the sleeve. And then in the next vlog, I honestly, fingers crossed, I need to hold myself to this. I want this to be done. I need to obviously weave my ends and then do the surface crochet. I feel like this has been a long like cardigan in the making, but I guess that's the thing with knitwear, it's a slow craft, and I would rather this sort of be perfect and be really happy with it. So yeah, I'm really excited. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. Obviously, as always, if you enjoyed, then don't forget to like, subscribe and everything, and obviously stay tuned to see the next one where I'm, fingers crossed, gonna finish this whole project finally.